My phone's camera blinked, and for a second, everything looked normal. My bed, untouched except for my tangled sheets, my half-drunk can of energy drink sweating on the nightstand, blue glow from my cheap LED strip lights running the length of the wall. The clock read 2:38 a.m., the quietest bed hour. And then, there in the gallery, the photo revealed itself. Sometimes I wish I could go back to being blind. At first glance, it almost blended into the background. Then my eyes adjusted, and there was this shape in the corner right by the closet door, a slick, too dark outline that bent the air as if the pixels themselves were trying to rearrange around it. I stared, thinking maybe the light had just glitched, maybe my eyes were fried from too many late nights. But the longer I looked, the clearer it got. Something tall, spindly, jointed wrong, standing perfectly still. No face. Not really. Just the suggestion of features where no face should go, pulling at the fabric of the walls. Behind it, the closet door was open wider than it ever goes, way past the frame, into pitch black. I swear it looked like a hallway stretching back, impossible, like the picture had opened a space that couldn't exist in my tiny room. I want to say it was a trick of the light. I want to say I edited it, or dreamed it, or imagined the hand, fingerless and slick, pressing out of the door jamb, begging, maybe, or beckoning. But I remember how the temperature dropped, how my ears rang, how my reflection in the mirror behind it was smiling, laughing almost, as if I'd finally seen what I shouldn't have. This wasn't in the room with me, or anywhere at all. Let me tell you how it all started. If you're here for my last story, you know I don't scare easy. This is supposed to be just a story, right? Just another internet rabbit hole, a weird post to share with your friends at 2 a.m. But tonight, I'm asking you, begging you really, to think twice before you go any further, because some things don't like to be seen. And lately, I'm starting to learn that sometimes sharing is the fastest way to vanish. I almost closed out of recording this 1,000 times. The point isn't clout or karma or whatever virtual points you collect for lasting through another creepypasta. I watched a user, remember Glitch Watcher? He posted about the thing in his webcam stream for days. Comments poured in, theories bounced around. Then suddenly, all his old uploads were wiped. His account? Dead link, not suspended, like he was never there. His last DM to me just said, "Don't finish your story. Don't." But you wouldn't be listening if you weren't a little curious about what leaks through our screens late at night, would you? What if I told you the scariest things aren't what you see in horror flicks, but the unnoticed shadows hiding in your everyday snapshots, things nobody remembers posing for? Take a look at your own gallery next time you scroll. See if anything stares back. Maybe I'm next. Maybe you are. That's what terrifies me the most. So before I explain what my phone's camera caught, before you try to call this fake or staged or some ARG, ask yourself, what's really hiding in your photos? I promised myself I'd get this all out. If this is the last trace of me that stays online, at least someone else might learn the rules. And the warning. Let me explain everything. My friends used to say my life was so boring it could put Ambien out of business. That was part of the joke. Me, the guy who watched horror movies out of sheer spite for how little ever actually happened in real life. I'd send screenshots of my empty notifications to our group chat. Breaking news, still not dead. Tune in at 11. Sam would send back a photo of his cat on the radiator, claiming top-tier content, bro. We had running jokes about being invisible NPCs, background characters in each other's recycled snap stories. Life was a scroll of nothing, one forgettable image at a time. If I'm honest, I embraced the banality. Mom always said even mold needs something to grow on, and I was the bread. Waking up late, trudging through class remotely, full of caffeine and nowhere to go. Even my phone, a 3 generations old hand-me-down with a cracked corner, felt like another extension of my meh existence. The biggest excitement? The Google Photos algorithm misidentifying my shadow as dog. I haven't owned a pet in 10 years.
Our inside jokes became a running archive of mediocrity. Tommy, who lived next door, kept tagging me in fake #LivingSpectre memes, the joke being I was so boring and pale I was only visible in Wi-Fi reflections. My group called dibs on my PlayStation if I ever glitched out of the simulation. And that's how desperate we were for spice, baiting the universe for any sign it was watching. So when things started acting strange, nobody noticed but me at first. It was small stuff, my phone screen flickering during video calls, the camera refusing to focus, a gray glitchy watermark in the corner like a dead pixel that came and went. A few times I'd snap a pic and the photo would take forever to process, pulsing like it was thinking. Once or twice I'd get that odd chill when stepping past a mirror at night, though I laughed it off as ghost metabolism. Just some ordinary digital decay. I'd find blurry thumbnails in the gallery that didn't match any picture I remember taking. I assumed it was just a phone eating itself from the inside, like everything else in my tiny rented apartment. Sometimes the timestamps would change, randomly shifting back by a few minutes, or images would briefly rearrange on their own. But even then, it's not like I expected anything. This is what old tech does, right? Jank and lag and battery drain, the holy trinity of first world problems. Looking back, maybe I wanted something weird to happen. Maybe every horror movie binge, each lazy meme was my way of poking the shadows and daring them to bite back. Maybe I was bored enough to ignore the soft alarm bells when mundane started to rankle, like static behind a song you've played 1,000 times. Life was boring, annoyingly predictable, comfortably numb, until my phone started acting up for real. And then one night, I took a photo I shouldn't have. I can tell you the exact moment my skin started to crawl. It was a Sunday night, the kind where every hour feels like someone's dragging a damp sponge across your brain. I was sprawled on my bed, hoodie up, Netflix idling on low, mindlessly doom scrolling. Maybe I was craving proof of life, the whole, here I am, not a total NPC thing, so I snapped a quick selfie from my pillow. Just me, boredom, and the untidy chaos of my room. The next morning, I glanced at my gallery and my thumb stopped dead on that photo. At first, everything yelled normal. My face half in shadow, my battered bookshelf, clothes pile morphing into abstract art. But then my eyes drifted to the blurry corner of the frame where the closet met the wall. That's when I felt it, a low hum in my bones. The closet door was open, but wider than usual, just like in that cold open, except this was my real, lived-in room. And there was something gray, almost smoky, hovering by the open space, like a smear or maybe a face, but the longer I stared, the less it made sense. Not quite a person, but a suggestion, a mistake in the pixels that shouldn't be there. I sent it to the group chat as a joke. Rate my existential crisis, extra points for haunted wardrobe. Sam answered first. LOL, bro, did you get a new roommate? Tommy, who dat in the closet? Looks friendly. Me, I think it's my sleep paralysis demon auditioning. Lydia, you edited that, right? I tried to laugh it off. Yeah, obviously, I typed back, but the sick part was I hadn't touched a thing. No filters, no apps, no Facetune tweaks, raw image. I even tried to recreate the shot. Same angle, same pose, closet shut, but the vibe was off, and nothing weird showed up, not in any version but the first. I tried to delete it. The gallery would flash, the image would disappear for half a second, then pop back into place as if nothing happened. I powered off my phone, waited, turned it back on, still there. I figured maybe it was a storage bug, so I uploaded the photo to my email thinking I'd gaslight myself into thinking it never happened. Except now, the image had weird static in the top right, and the smear had started to look more like an eye. By late afternoon, I let myself believe it was nothing. Daytime confidence is a real drug. Sunlight makes even the creepiest glitches seem like jokes. But I kept scrolling back, catching myself staring at that one spot in every shot, scanning for intrusions. The weirdest part was the background in the photo. My closet door frame was chipped on the left, the paint peeling in a way it never did in real life, or at least never used to. When night came around, I sat up, restless, unable to shake the chill. I shot a glance at my actual closet. My skin went cold, because even though I'd never noticed it before, there, faint and cracked, just like in the photo, was a thin strip of paint missing now, like the room itself had updated, syncing up to the impossible picture that wouldn't let go. And that's when I realized, what if you took a picture and saw a place you've never been, but now you're in it? I told myself to forget it. Just delete the whole camera roll, start over, pretend nothing happened. But curiosity is a sickness, especially when it tastes a little like terror. That single photo aided me, gnawing away during every idle thumb scroll. So I started looking closer, hunting for glitches and old shots, digging up months of digital crumbs. And that's when the pattern started. Things appearing in the margins, just out of focus. A shoe where I knew I'd left a pair of socks. A warped reflection in the TV that bent in ways nothing should, as if some background process in my life was updating without my input. Day to day, everything still looked the same. Autocorrect fails, Sam's memes about existential dread, Tommy spamming, "Go outside," while I stewed in the blue-lit tomb of my apartment. To the outside world, I was just a lurker, posting dumb memes, getting tagged in low-effort group shots. But in every new photo I took, something hovered at the edge, like my phone's lens was catching places reality hadn't registered yet. A selfie by my window showed the latch twisted in the wrong direction, casting a shadow I couldn't recreate no matter how many times I adjusted the blinds. I pointed it out to the chat. Me, wasn't that window supposed to be closed? Sam, what do you mean? Did someone break in? Tommy, you need sleep, or you need help, or both. Lydia, maybe it's a filter glitch. Restart your phone, dude. But when I zoomed in, faintly under the glare, with letters half erased, barely there, spelling something like "look again" in blocky machine text, I did what anyone would. I took more pictures, every angle, every room, searching for the next sign. Each time, reality shifted just a little. Doors slightly warped, new cracks in the paint, closets that looked deeper or darker than I remembered. Sometimes what showed up in the gallery wasn't just off, it was outright impossible. I started screenshotting everything, convinced it had to be some viral filter, some AR prank I hadn't heard of. I even tried sharing an unfiltered photo to my story, but the moment I tapped upload, the app froze and the image glitched into a gray block. My notifications blew up, but half the usernames looked like auto-generated spam. Some sent scrambled DMs, images flashing with distorted faces, or messages like, "You see it now?" and "Don't answer the window." Then, things got stranger. Notifications from numbers not saved in my phone, some with zeros for names or just a string of symbols. Tap to open, and it was the same photo, me, but with that shifting shape in the background. Sometimes the notifications would vanish before I could screenshot them. Other times I'd find meta quotes embedded in random shots. "The more you see, the closer it gets. Do not reply. They don't like to be seen." Sam started worrying, pinging me with late-night voice notes. "Bro, take a break from your phone. Seriously. Get some air. Go outside, or I don't know, sleep for once." But sleep was impossible. Anytime I tried, I'd dream in the colors of my phone's LED notification, harsh, unnatural, pulsing through the most ordinary images of my room, until I'd wake up half sure I'd missed something even worse. I scrolled through our chat history. Was anyone else seeing this? Or was it just me, caught in an algorithmic spiral, being tailored for something nobody else could reach? The more I looked, the worse it got. Even my old photos started changing after I tapped on them, little by little, rooms melting into impossible angles, windows reflected backward, my own face looking less and less like mine. By now, my phone had become a haunted artifact. Notifications pinged me in silent rooms, faces appearing in the lens where nobody stood, cryptic warnings blinking in and out of existence. My friends kept saying it's not real, but I started to wonder, what if my camera wasn't broken? What if it was showing me what was really there? Because fear isn't proof, but it's a pretty good prophecy. I think I knew, deep down, the worst was still coming, and I kept looking. I couldn't stop. Maybe you think this is all paranoia. Maybe you're still laughing at the idea that a phone camera could break open the world. I would have too before all this. But there's a point where odd curdles into impossible, and even the most stubborn brain can't explain it away. That's where I ended up, documenting things with that crying, desperate part of myself that still needed proof, even if it meant finding the kind of evidence no one could ever believe. The glitches started escalating. First, it was warped reflections, light in places where no lamp existed. Next, whole chunks of background would become wrong. One morning, I took a panorama of my apartment, thinking the wide angle might finally break the spell. When I lined up the images, a doorway appeared at the end of the kitchen, a warped, too tall rectangle with an angle so severe it looked like it was slumping, ready to swallow the fridge. For the record, there's only one entrance to my place. This was on the inside wall, and it vanished the moment I turned around. But every photo from then on, even when I snapped from different rooms, showed that shape looming, warping closer, like a bruise under my ceiling. Then came the videos. I filmed myself walking through my apartment, reading off timestamps. Nothing strange until I played it back. Doorways I passed that weren't there in real life, shadow faces flickering in the glass of my microwave. The creepiest part, a patch of digital static, shifting and pulsing, seemed to peer out from the darkness in each frame. Sometimes when I paused just right, you could make out fingertips on the door, curled as if something was trying to push through, 5 joints each, bent the wrong way. I started leaving my phone propped up, filming while I slept. The playback would always freeze at 3:33 a.m., glitch, then start up again a few minutes later with the room subtly different, a warped coat rack, a new crack crawling up the wall. My bedroom window filmed open when I knew I'd locked it. In one playback, something moved across the foot of my bed, not quite a shadow, not quite solid, but when I advanced frame by frame, I swear I saw my own face reflected in it, except the eyes were pitch black. I dare you, pause right here, look at this frame. Does anyone else see what I see? Or am I already past saving? When I tried to post the video online, the upload would fail or the site would freeze and refresh, blanking out my thread. I sent links to forums, begging for feedback, but every time I returned, the topic would have vanished or been replaced by a 404, content removed for violating guidelines. A few people DM'd me screenshots, said they could see something moving in the darkness, and then their accounts vanished, history wiped. It was like telling the truth made the platform itself turn hostile, purging any trace before it could spread. I messaged Tommy, half joking, half serious now. Me, what am I supposed to do? My room keeps changing. Are you pranking me? Did I sleepwalk and knock out all my walls? Tommy, dude, your memes are getting weird, for real. This is like ARG levels of commitment. Lydia, I checked your pics. When I zoom in, I just get a headache. Try factory resetting your phone, or Sage, maybe both. Sam, you need to chill, for real. But I couldn't chill. It wasn't just inside the phone anymore. The paint on my actual wall, the warped edge of my window started to match the mutations in my gallery. I would touch the spots in real life, feel a subtle coldness like static pulse against my palm. Doors creaked open by millimeters at night and wouldn't close no matter how much I pushed. I started sleeping with the lights on, but that only made the shadows deeper, more defined in my photos. And worst, the notifications started getting personal. From unknown, if you're reading this, it's already through. Every new message was more cryptic. Don't trust reflections. Stop looking. Stop sharing. But I couldn't stop sharing. Couldn't shake the feeling this would all fade into nightmare if I could just pin it down, make someone, anyone see. There's no tech support for this, no manual for documenting your own reality coming undone. Just me, my haunted phone, and you. If you're still watching, if you pause the video and stare into the darkness at the 10-minute mark, you might just catch it, flickering past, moving closer. At some point, I stopped being frantic. I got desperate. Even as everything in my room changed, day by day, I kept the camera running, desperate not to be the only witness to my own unraveling. If none of this uploads, if every post gets wiped, I guess that's just proof nothing digital is ever really real. Or maybe it's proof that something's making sure you don't see what comes next. Somewhere in the grind, my world shrank. The friends, the group chat, the dumb little notifications, background noise now, distant, almost theoretical. I stopped responding except to the essentials. Even scrolling took effort. Each image in my camera roll a landmine, loaded with shapes and angles my room never used to have. It was like reality itself had gone algorithmic, shuffling and rerouting based on some terrible code I'd triggered without knowing. I started second-guessing everything. Little things like how my lamp warped in the reflection of my bedroom mirror, or how a chair seemed to shift half a meter left every time I looked away, cropping in and out of old photos. I thought I was going mad. I said it out loud just to check if my own voice sounded real. "You're losing it, man. At least your phone battery never dies now." Dark humor, yeah, but what else could I do? I tried deleting photos, hoping to break the chain, but every time I scrolled back, new images had appeared, shots I don't remember taking, at angles I couldn't have managed, sometimes of my own face mid-sleep or turned away, sometimes of corners of my room that didn't exist last week. There was a rug with a pattern I'd never seen. Then 2 nights later, I'd find it folded at the foot of my bed. A bookshelf from my nightmares suddenly showing up in grainy detail beneath my actual window, filled with objects I could almost remember touching. Almost. Worse still, memories started to scramble, as if my own brain was being gaslit by my device. I'd be sure my desk had always sat beneath the poster by the door, then check my old photos and see it's in another corner. One day I called Sam to vent because despite everything, I still wanted someone to say it was all a joke or a hallucination. "Dude, do you remember what your kitchen looked like last time you were over?" I asked. Long pause. White tile, tiny microwave, that aggressively depressing green paint? Why? I texted him a photo taken that morning, my kitchen walls covered in blue wallpaper I'd definitely never applied. The same pattern had started showing up, first in my gallery, then in my waking life. His reply, "Bro, what the hell is this? Photoshop? I thought you were broke." I replied, "Was. Now I'm just haunted." I stopped inviting people over, even virtually. Tommy's call went straight to voicemail. Lydia texted me 10 times before I finally typed back, just swamped. Truth was, the less I explained, the less real it all felt. Loneliness settled in my bones, sharp and gnawing. My phone became my only company, its camera my only confessor. Never sleeping, never dying, always ready for the next slip in the fabric. The outside world faded. I barely left the apartment. Sometimes I wondered if I even could. One night, just to test the boundaries, I called a rideshare and stood by the front window, but the view was subtly warped. Street signs written backwards, passing cars casting elongated, impossible shadows. I snapped a picture of the window and compared it to my childhood photos, the ones Mom mailed me ages ago. They didn't match at all. Had they ever? I started remembering things that couldn't be true. A dream of Tommy's room morphing until it matched the angle of my last haunted selfie. When I finally checked the group chat, Tommy had just posted a pic, his basement, arranged exactly like the image I had taken, right down to the cracked molding on the door. "Dude, does this look right to you?" he'd asked. But I couldn't answer. My mouth was too dry. You ever look at an old photo and see something that shouldn't be there? Something you swear was never near you? That's what life became. A constant unthreading of what's real, what's remembered, and what's just a symptom of too much time spent behind a screen. I knew I had to tell someone, but at this point, who would believe me?
Desperation drives you down ugly roads, the kind that branch into dark corners of the internet, and sometimes into real-life dead ends where everyone's face looks just a bit too blank. I started small, a vague Reddit post, playing it off as, hey, anyone else's phone camera pick up weird stuff at night? Most people laughed it off, Urban Explorer Simulator unlocked, or trolled me with photoshopped ghosts in their kitchen sinks. But every so often, a DM would slip through, laced with real fear. One user, 01NNIX, wrote, "Delete all your photos, now, before it finds you." Then their account vanished. Poof, no trace, even on my follow list. When the group chat offered nothing but jokes and sighs, I tried an old conspiracy forum, one that used to dig into glitches in the Matrix. My thread survived maybe an hour. The first replies were mundane, sounds like burnout, did you mess with astral projection? Then came a reply I can't forget. Check the metadata on your images, see if anything's been added. When I did, line after line of gibberish code appeared in the files, always ending arrival.in.progress, and a sequence of numbers that, the longer I stared, started matching time-stamped moments of terror, 3:33 a.m., again and again. I called Tommy, voice shaking, desperate for any confirmation. "Dude, you need help. Mental, digital, herbal, full cleanse," he laughed. Just tell me, your basement, does it look the same as last week?" He paused. "I mean, maybe. Rooms change all the time, right? You gotta get outside." Lydia chimed in later, more serious. "I think you're having some kind of breakdown. Take a break from your screens, clear your head." I snapped. "If you saw even half of what I have, you wouldn't ask me to. Don't you get it? I don't think it wants me to stop. I think it wants me to keep sharing." I went to the police, yeah, the lowest point, staring at my photos, sweaty hands, explaining to a bored desk officer how my life was warping room by room. He scrolled, humored me for maybe a minute, then set the phone down with a sigh. "It's just a glitch. Maybe you need to log off for a bit." "Why do the dates keep changing? Why do rooms look different on here than in person?" He shrugged, tapping on my phone's screen like it was contagious. "Cameras act up. Maybe you've been hacked, or maybe your old hardware's gone sideways." He leaned forward, voice lower. "Do you remember anything unusual from last year?" Something about his eyes made my skin crawl. "Why?" I asked. "Just wondering. It's not the first time someone's come in about this kind of thing." He gave me a business card with a number I'd never seen on any official site. I tried calling. A woman picked up, voice almost familiar, like static shaped into a person. "Tell me about the hallway," she said. What hallway?" "You've seen it. You know what's beneath the paint." I hung up. My hands were numb. Somehow my camera had turned back on, recording. That night, another DM slipped into my Instagram requests. The username was just a string of numbers, profile completely blank. "Stop posting. Don't look in mirrors after dark." Publicly, everything was the same. Friends on TikTok did challenge dances, Twitter was trending #backrooms again, which felt more like a cruel joke. Lydia tagged me in an old meme about living specters, a callback to the old inside joke, and it made my stomach twist. Did she really not see the shapes behind my face in every tag, every scan? For every skeptic, there were people who claimed to understand, deep in the comments of older, now hidden posts. They talked about seeing the rules. Don't photograph empty doorways after midnight. Never let your phone's camera autofocus for too long. Don't share unfiltered images, or they get closer. I remembered those names from urban legends, from the other stories people whispered about, the ones that disappeared, their DMs dead links, their accounts silent. I started to wonder genuinely if I'd wandered into some legacy of digital hauntings, some weird intersection where urban legend bled into system error. But public life carried on as always. My classmates messaged about assignments, my boss scheduled Zoom meetings, commenters joked about my new cryptid phase. None of them saw the shifting wallpapers, the impossible windows, the void that grew in the corners whenever I wasn't looking. I learned things they wish I hadn't. Here's what no one tells you.
The deeper you dig, the more you realize some holes are just graves in disguise. I couldn't sleep, so I started searching for anyone who'd seen what I was seeing. It's all hidden in plain sight, buried in dusty old message boards, glitchy subreddits locked to new users, encrypted chat rooms where the avatars are all static faces and the posts disappear if you mention real names. You start seeing the same phrases, dropped like warnings. Photographic bores, reflection rules, rooms that reach. Lore, like urban legends but sticky, recurring. If you're hearing this and your heart's starting to pound, you probably already know. You're closer than you think. I found a thread called Backframe Access on a forum older than the web itself, nothing but deleted users and dead links now. But I pieced together the rules line by jittery line from what scraps remained. 1. Never take a photo of an empty doorway after midnight. Exit your gallery immediately if an extra door appears. 2. Never photograph your reflection after 3:33 a.m. Allegedly, that's when the seers crawl through. 3. Never share an original, unfiltered image of any space you've never physically entered. That's how they map reality. These were treated less like challenges and more like prayers, desperate bargains. Don't look too long or they'll look right back. Clear your cache before sleeping. Lock the door not for burglars, but for what leaks through the glass. I wasn't alone, but the few people who wrote back didn't exactly offer hope. One reply, "Have you ever had a photo disappear after you looked too closely? It means the thing in it noticed you." Another, "Sometimes memories and spaces get swapped. That's how they blend in." It started with photos. Then came the video calls. Next? Who knows? They never explained what was on the other side, not directly. The only description I ever found, it's a place where nothing is finished, just copied and pasted forever. Fear started folding in on itself, smothering logic. Sometimes, in the worst minutes, I'd wonder if maybe I really was hallucinating, if all these rules were just collective nightmares, a digital echo chamber for shut-ins and terminally online weirdos. But the evidence kept stacking up. Photos I never took, memories that didn't belong, corners of my apartment stretching wider than my blueprints. Once, I turned away from my phone and caught a sideways glimpse of myself in a window, smiling when I wasn't. My own face out of sync. Let me ask you, any of you actually watching, actually listening? Have you checked your camera roll and noticed a picture you can't remember taking? Did your phone ever buzz at 3:33 and for a blink you thought someone was in the room with you? Sometimes, all it takes is a second glance and something wakes up. Maybe you don't believe me. Maybe you won't look. But if you're watching this, you're already partway there. I started writing it all down, documenting every new change. I scribbled down rules, compared glitches, cross-referenced timelines. Maybe someone else will find this and see a pattern I missed. Or maybe I'm just handing the curse to whoever looks too closely. That's the worst FOMO of all. Not missing out, but knowing there's one secret you can't survive knowing for long. There's one more photo, the one I was never supposed to take. If you've made it this far, you really should stop here. No joke, no fake out. If you're just here to lurk, click away now before this gets inside you. I'm serious. My last warning, once you see it, you can't unsee it. I knew deep down there was a line no one's supposed to cross. The photo that's less a picture and more a door you open from the wrong side. But whoever made these rules, they didn't explain why each detail pulls you deeper until you're standing right at the threshold, shaking and lonely, phone glowing with something hungry inside it. It happened the same night the static in my gallery finally spread to the camera itself. Every live image shimmered like my phone was sweating through fever. Shadows wriggled in the lens, layering over each other, folding behind closet doors and under my own hands. There was a pressure in the room, heavy and expectant, as if the thing I'd been dodging all this time was finally pressing through. Some part of me broke then. I just wanted to end the uncertainty, so I aimed my camera, pointed it at the empty space behind me, and snapped. That's when the screen stuttered, freeze-framed, then glitched. Then everything crawled forward, an impossible shape, tall as the ceiling, more absence than presence, flesh that bent instead of moved. Its head was backward, just a blank stretch where a face ought to be, a mouth melted shut with a deep bruised eye split open above it, limbs jointed in the wrong places, not looking at me exactly, but right through the lens. And I know this part sounds impossible, but it was aware, not of me, of you, whoever's watching. The notification bar flickered, then glowed blood red. My phone buzzed and a text appeared, just your username, as if it had already scanned you, registered you as a new viewer. Pause here. Look closely at the shadows. You saw it, didn't you?
The way the static warps, like something's crawling between us. That means it saw you too. Only the people watching right now can see what's in that frame. In fact, if you replay this and the shadows look a little different each time, that's how you'll know the difference between looking and being looked at. There's a scratchy audio glitch in the background, an echo that for a split second sounds like my voice and also not mine. In that glitch, you might almost make out a phrase, "Are you ready to come through?" My hand started to shake, but I kept recording, even as the room and the camera grew darker, stretching at the edges. The hallway appeared where my closet was, just like all the warnings. For a moment, I could see dozens of blurry forms scuttling forward, reaching for the sides of the frame, pixel by pixel. If you see them, don't answer. Don't try to screenshot. Your gallery won't keep it. My device is already flickering. The world behind my phone is growing strange, elastic, like a screensaver you can't wake from. If you're feeling it, if your chest is tight, if the shadows in your room look just a bit too deep, remember, you've been seen as well. This is it, the line between story and proof. I'm not sure there's any going back now.
If you're hearing my voice now, you should know I'm not the one uploading this. By the time it goes live, you'll realize I've already disappeared. That's how it works. The story keeps turning, the account refreshes, the voices change, but the message stays, if you're seeing this, it's too late. They say someone new always picks up the phone. Maybe it's you. Maybe you'll be the next ghost in a group chat, the next glitch in a background, the next DM that vanishes when people scroll back trying to find proof. If you made it through to the end, leave a comment, even just a period. If you survive the week, the rest of us will know what it means. And if you don't, well, someone else will pick up. Check your camera roll. Go ahead, right now. See if you spot a frame you don't remember taking, a shadow that flinches when you look too hard, a background detail your memory swears wasn't there before. Sometimes not seeing is safer, but if you do spot something, if your phone starts glitching or your walls start peeling in impossible stripes, remember, panic is just proof you're paying attention. Some of you will call this an ARG or a story or bait for engagement. Maybe you even remember the inside joke, the old living specter tag or that room glitch meme. Those who know, know. I guess what I'm saying is, don't linger too long at the threshold. Whatever was waiting on the other side, I think it wants you curious. Once you look, it looks back. Once you listen, you're heard. So welcome to the background. I'll see you there. And if your phone buzzes at 3:33, don't answer. Just let it ring. Or else I'll be waiting just outside the frame.